Hi, Melissa here. I'm about to do the fourth reading of Domestic Violence on Ice. So I'm just setting this up properly because I'm going to stream, hopefully, if all goes to plan, I'm going to try and stream my reading tonight as well on my Instagram. So let's just see how we go. So first up tonight, I want to do a quick shout out and say hey to Meg and Christy, and I also want to say hey to Henry and Amy who have been watching each week. That's really, really neat that they've been watching some of these recordings. And I guess if you haven't been watching me do these recordings, then it would be really super awesome if you read the introduction of this, because one thing that I don't want to come across as is I'm not after any sympathy or any pity as I read this. I'm just simply reading it, and I've forgiven the father of my children for everything that's happened in the past. We're all past all of that, so there's no hate, there's no anger, we're all good. I'm just really reading the story to inspire women who might find themselves stuck in something that's not really that nice. So I wrote the book literally with this hope or this expectation that I might be able to inspire, and that's really why I wrote it. So if I inspire, please let me know. It will be great to, see if I'm helping you. I would love to know. Oh, Instagram's not liking it. And I guess as well, just if anything does come up for you with this recording, please, let me know. It would be good to connect with your friends or family or someone that you can talk to about what you're going through, because I guess one thing that when I was going through a lot of the stuff that I went through, I was really afraid of being able to, share with people about what I was going through. So that's just a quick start. So chapter 3 is running from New Zealand. So in the space of 3 months, I saw changes. Jobs were lost or abandoned. Everyone wanted to be the top dog. The weekend nights around the table became any day of the week, any time of the day events. People showed up in the morning and the curtains were drawn. The pipe was frequently a light bulb. Houses had empty light fittings. No one bothered to replace the bulbs anymore. People went to the supermarket to buy light bulbs, not for light, but to use to smoke the drugs. Candles became a popular lighting method. The conversation was less real and more bullshit than before. There were more he said, she said crap going around. People spoke like fried rabbits, talking at breakneck speed. Yippity yip, yip yap. The odd person would start chomping, chewing, doing strange things with their jaw, or gritting their teeth. Around April, a house was raided and a few people were locked up. Some of the boys were gone, seemingly for a while. The stories suggested manufacturing precursors, the stuff that goes into the making of the methamphetamine, and weapons charges were in the mix. These guys could potentially do a fair bit of time, possibly affecting the rest of their lives. It was a little bit scary. I think I opened my eyes a little bit wider and saw the bigger picture. Accusations were thrown around. Someone suggested someone else had narked. Some defended him, saying, "Nah, that's all shit," and others said he needed his head smashed in. Rumours flew everywhere. The fried tables around town had plenty to gossip about. The house on Charles felt empty with hardly anyone around. Everything was quiet for a while. Customers still came and went on the weekend, but it was different. One friend left a relationship to be with one of those now locked up guys. I didn't approve. She had a child, and I felt strongly that life was no good for children. I wished she realized she deserved better than him. I wished she could see it was no place to be raising children. She probably felt the same about me. Rightly so. The world of methamphetamine is not very nice, and it only gets worse the longer you live it. One night we witnessed a warning from the heavens. Perhaps it was a coincidence, but I took it as a sign. We were getting ready to go out. Most of the group was fried. There was a framed photo of the boys around our friend's headstone hanging on the wall above the fireplace. As we were getting ready to leave, the picture just jumped off the wall, giving us a fright. I thought, he's trying to tell you all to stop. But it was too late. There was no stopping. Some guys kept guns and other weapons always close by. One slept with a loaded gun under his bed. They needed protection because you never knew who might show up. Weapons weren't often flashed about. Most people wouldn't know that they were around. It just came with the game. It was a part of the life, just like the TV surveillance on the driveway, just in case. The people I cared about were being reduced to morons at the nicest and complete utter filth at the worst. Some lied through their teeth, others cheated, and some physically abused their partners. Girls were being bashed, hit, punched, and one girl was burned with cigarettes. I watched everyone crumble. I didn't like it, and I didn't want to be there to witness Wesley's fall if it happened. I realized I was in too deep. Hey, Ezra. Thanks for watching. I loved him, and I knew it'd hurt if he got locked up. I started thinking about what I wanted in my life, and I wondered if I really wanted to live that life. It was during those wondering times Wesley and I had our first scary argument. We'd been drinking Tanqueray, and I'd been doing shots. It was late. Everyone had left, and it was only us home. I felt extremely drunk. I was sitting at the table with my head hanging down, and all of a sudden, I felt sick. I stumbled across the kitchen and threw up in the sink. I don't remember if Wesley was drunk or fried, but he lost it. I stumbled back to the table and stood there holding on to it. He grabbed me, shoving me towards the bench a couple of meters away. I fell into the bench, hitting my hip quite hard. It hurt, and I was crying. I didn't really understand what was going on. Everything seemed to be moving around me. Wesley grabbed my head and forced it down towards the sink. He told me to sort it out. He was angry. I became afraid. I hadn't seen him like that towards me. Through my tears, I asked him what was wrong. It'd be okay. I just needed a few minutes. I wanted to escape from him because I didn't trust him. I tried running away, but I was too drunk. I ran or stumbled into the lounge. I tried to reach the sliding door. I thought maybe I could get away. I have no idea where I thought I would go. I probably wouldn't have made it to the end of the driveway. In my state, I wasn't quick enough. He stopped me, and he wouldn't let me go. I think my attempted escape gave him a fright. I don't know what he expected, but I don't think he predicted I would leave with nothing, not caring I could barely walk, not caring about anything I was leaving behind. He kept saying sorry over and over. I sat on the floor of his bedroom, leaning against the wall, crying. I didn't get angry. I didn't yell and scream. I didn't have fight in me back then. I was just hurting, sad and surprised. It was horrible. I sobered up a little, at least in my mind. I felt in control in my head, even if I couldn't quite get my body to do what I wanted it to. I told Wesley I wasn't sticking around for it. He promised me it would never happen again, and I promised him if he ever laid a finger on me again, I'd be gone and there would be no coming back. Maybe I should have left then and never returned. The morning revealed a bruise. After showing my friend, she told me I was stupid to go back. I wouldn't listen. He promised never again, and something made me believe he would never hurt me again. It was amongst the drama and the craziness I decided to pursue my dreams. I wanted to travel and see the world. I'd visited Sydney when I was 16 and fell in love with the place. Back then, I thought it was a place I would live someday. I thought about that trip and my heart told me it was where I should go. As soon as I listened to my inner voice, things came together easily. Within days, I discovered work had a position going in the Sydney office. I sent through my application and soon received a phone interview. A week later, I was on a plane heading to Australia for a formal interview. It happened very quickly. I knew in my heart I had the job before the interview was done, and there was no way I could turn it down. I received the call while I was sitting in Cheers Bar with one of my high school mates. The manager called and asked if I wanted the job and when I could start. I made my decision to go. Wesley didn't get any say in it. I had to remain in my job for another month, but my life was about to change. In the beginning, Wesley encouraged me. Then he realised I was serious. It was happening and it was too late to change my mind. He was used to people dreaming, but wasn't used to people actually acting on their dreams. I knew he was thinking about me leaving and wondering if there was any point to us. He deliberately caused stress and problems. He tried to get me to change my mind. He didn't want me to go. He was afraid to lose me. I don't know why I held on. He was worried about my exes and creative fights around the past. He was around many fried people. I can only imagine some of the conversations that were going on. I felt broken. I wrote, "I'm afraid of losing you, so afraid. I honestly don't think I could handle it. I'm breaking right now. Please fix me. I need you." I was desperately clinging to him. I didn't want to lose him. Later that same night, I wrote, "I understand you. You don't want me to leave. I don't want to leave you. I don't want to lose you. I'm scared of being alone, afraid of the pain, afraid of the hurt." The drama continued for the rest of the month. There was a story about a close friend. I don't know the truth, if he made up stories to cause me more pain and ruin one of my friendships, or if he told me the truth about who she was at that time. He told me my friend asked him to text her sister. He made it sound like my friend was trying to set him up with her sister, and I felt betrayed. It made me feel awful. In my paranoia, I felt she was deliberately trying to push our relationship to end. She knew I was leaving. I was devastated to think my close friend would attempt to set her sister up with my boyfriend. But looking back, I can see it was unlikely. Wesley eventually accepted I was moving to Sydney. He didn't want me to stay with my high school friend because he didn't trust me, so he asked me to stay with his sisters. Initially, I was a bit hesitant. I didn't know them, and I knew my friend, and he had other friends I could meet. I wouldn't be alone all the time. Wesley didn't like my idea, so he suggested if I stayed with his sisters, he'd come over for a few weeks to see if he liked the place. Maybe, if he liked it, he would stay longer or plan to move over, giving me a vague promise, a hope for our relationship in the future. The emotional torture continued. A couple of weeks before I was about to leave, I wrote, "He talked to our friend and said he would come over. He spoke to his sister and told her he would come over. He had told me he would come for a holiday, and last night he told me he was coming over. But not anymore. Love is so difficult, such a challenge. I describe my Wesley as a wild stallion. He's my big, strong, black, glossy stallion. All I want to do is tame him, make him mine. But he keeps throwing me, and each time it hurts. This last sentence in my diary caught my interest. I later discovered once you have a good life, a settled, happy, peaceful life, and you're ready, love will find you. It won't be a challenge. I don't mean you won't find some challenges, but it won't be exhausting, draining, emotional hell. It will be easy. You'll be able to talk and share emotions. You'll be able to voice your feelings and insecurities. There may still be instances where you miscommunicate, back out, or freak out. But the difference is it isn't confronting, angry, and hurtful. You take a breather, a moment, and talk. Then everything is okay. You aren't an emotional wreck from the experience. Instead, the relationship becomes stronger. I next wrote, 10 more days to go. Inspiration and drunkenness. I love my Wes, but am I wasting my time? I put everything in, and sometimes it just gets thrown back at me. At least I know he loves me. That keeps me going. I'm so lucky to have found this love, to have found my Wes. I'm so lucky to be in love, to feel love, to know love. So lucky, yet I am still leaving it behind, even though I will hold on. I was addicted to our crazy love. I wrote, finally found it, what I was looking for. It's hard. This was it, passion and drama. Exactly what I wanted. The fights and the makeups. So I know that there is something. It's the way he makes me feel. I feel like a little girl sometimes when I'm in his arms. The way he holds my head to his chest. The way he strokes my hair. The way he kisses my head. So much love in that smile. So much devotion. But when I'm gone, it's impossible. He's impossible. He gets angry with me, he pushes me away, he hurts me because he wants me back. Now I read those words and think how young and naive I was. If I had the confidence and self-assurance that I have now, I would have left and trusted the future would look after me. But I didn't have that confidence. I thought I needed a man to keep me happy. Not long before we left, we went away for a night at the chateau. We arrived and went straight to our room with a big balcony. I thought it was gorgeous. It was a night that had everything. The bubble bath was long, the room service dinner and dessert of strawberry ice cream sundaes was served on silver platters. We had romance, love, and heartbreak, sadness. Coming home the next day after such a wonderful night, I experienced pain again. He told me he was going away on my last night in town. I was devastated again. I wrote, it hurts. I feel like nothing. I feel pain. I feel crushed and I'm sad and hurting because he's pushing me away. He's telling me I'm making him mad, and he's making me sad and hurting me and not holding on to me and not telling me that he doesn't want me to go. He's not wrapping me up in his arms and holding me so close. He's not kissing the top of my head. He's not even in the room. He ended up changing his plan and took me along for the ride. We went on a mission to Tauranga. I was squished in the back seat of the car. We drove around with the sawn-off shotgun under the back seat. On the way home, one of the guys pulled it out, shooting at signs along the way. When we arrived home, it was stormy, pouring with rain, and we were pulled over. I freaked out. There were drugs and a gun in the car. Fortunately, because of the weather, the cops didn't search the car and our driver was sober. We were lucky. We made it home and spent the day in bed. Wesley asked me to stay another day and paid to change my airfare. When I left a few days later, it was a rush. It was crazy, but I didn't think too hard. I wrote during my flight. We ended up being so late this morning. I'm glad though, because it meant I had no time to think, no time to reminisce about home, no time to cry. A big part of me is so afraid though. I have fear. I'm afraid of the unknown, afraid of the pain, afraid of losing my man. I'm afraid of heartbreak, afraid to be hurt, afraid of being alone. I'm glad I'm going to stay with the sisters. That will make things so much easier. And I guess it proves how much he loves me, because he wouldn't want me staying with his family if I wasn't anything to him. I made the move. I was proud of myself for going. I was chasing a dream. I wanted to live in Sydney. I wanted to try out a career. I wanted to see what this opportunity would bring. I thought I was happy. And I thought there was a good possibility that Wesley would move to be with me. So that one is chapter 3. And I will give chapter 4 a crack in another couple of days. Have a great night, and thank you everyone for tuning in. My name's Melissa Wiringi, and I'm author of Domestic Violence on Ice. If you want a copy, I'll pop a link into the description. And if not, you're welcome to just join me along for the ride on Facebook Live. Have a great night, and talk to you again soon. Night.